Thanks for joining us today on Polk Salad.
We've started the season and had 2 great shows.
Great idea. That's smart.
And we've just settled in quite nicely.
Greetings. It's the merry month of May, and we have 3 special guests with us today. We have Ryan Kingsella from the Chamber. We have Kim Jensen from Western Oregon University. We have Gary Zenzen from PCL. I kept it in alphabetical order. We'll be right back. Greetings. We're here with Kim Jensen. She's a professor here at Western Oregon University in History and Gender Studies. Welcome, Kim.
Thanks so much for inviting me.
Thank you for coming on. You're quite the popular lady. We had an article in the paper, Itemizer Observer, saying that you had been selected to interview on a PBS
Yes,
show.
this
Tell
is
us
the
about that.
100th anniversary of World War I, so there are lots of different programs to commemorate that. So yeah, it was fun. They taped a few years ago in preparation for that, so
okay.
I was honored to be part of that.
Good. So your specific interest, history and gender studies, good combo.
Yeah.
Tell us about how you got your start.
Sure. Well, my dissertation at the University of Iowa was on American women in World War I. That became my first book.
Perfect.
And then I found...
Wait. Mobilizing Minerva. We'll give you a close-up of this a little later.
Thank you. And I found in that research a woman doctor named Esther Lovejoy who was from Oregon. And so coming here, I found that there was enough material to do a biography on her. So that
Book
was my
number
second
2.
book.
This is a great plug. This is Esther Poe Lovejoy, Life and Activism.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Oregon's pretty special. I'm glad you came, but you know, there are special things about Oregon. Tell us, women getting the vote.
Sure. We had in 2012 the chance to commemorate Oregon women getting the vote before many women in the nation did. So state by state votes, and Oregon 1912 before the 19th Amendment in 1920. So we've been able to really uncover a lot of history. People surprisingly have found things in their attics, and newspapers have been digitized, so we've been able to really retrieve a lot of that. So we'll be having some students do work on commemorating the 2020 anniversary.
Sure.
And I'm doing work too on another book on women in Oregon.
And I'm sorry I don't have a picture for that.
Well, that's coming. That's much later when that gets taken care of. Yeah.
Good. Well, you've been very active in historical organizations in the state and probably nationally as well. And there are some, I know you're passionate about this, and you've got students who give reviews saying she's passionate about history and gender studies. She's enthusiastic about her subject matter. You know, rave reviews. I know one student I spoke with said, any class she teaches, I'm there.
Oh,
you know.
Well, I am no different from other faculty here. That's what Western is really about. I think it's important to remember that we sometimes don't experience history as we're coming up in a passionate way. Sometimes people feel they're memorizing names and dates and things like that. So helping history come alive and helping students learn how they can research for themselves and find their area of passion is really important. So giving them those tools.
Yeah, so you have midterms coming up, a couple
absolutely.
today. So I know all the students will do well because you're a great teacher.
No, they'll do well because they have prepared and they're interested, and they have found connections with the material that we have.
Good, good. So organizations you're actively involved in include?
Well, I've been fortunate to work with the Oregon Historical Society and have been on their editorial board for the quarterly. I work with the Oregon Encyclopedia, which is an online peer-reviewed Oregon history that's available. And I've been for a while. I've just come off of the Oregon Heritage Commission, which is a statewide
Big
commission for
Yeah.
heritage. So I've been very fortunate.
Good.
And professional organizations as well within history.
Sure. There's something big coming up, and you seem very calm about it. And it sounds like it's a panel coming up. Would you tell us about that?
Yeah, sure. On May 18th, we're going to have a panel here at Western that's part of a 3-part series. We'll be giving one the night before in Portland at the Oregon Historical Society here at noon, and then at the Willamette Heritage Center the 18th at 5 o'clock. And it's going to be a panel looking particularly at citizenship and civil liberties during World War I. So I'll be talking about women, particularly with a focus on Oregon women. Professor Adrienne Lentz-Smith is going to be talking about African Americans and the war, and Professor Steve Sabo will be talking about Native Americans and citizenship in World War I and after. So it should be a lively panel. We invite people to come. It's free. It's at the Willamette Room in the Werner Center at noon.
Good. And you have these folks that are also going to be on the panel are esteemed in their own
They're
areas
fabulous
of
historians. They're
expertise,
wonderful.
And where do they come from?
So Professor Lentz-Smith is at Duke, and Professor Sabel's at North Carolina, Charlotte.
Wow. So this is big. And it should be fascinating.
I should say that we're co-sponsored with the Oregon Historical Society and Oregon State University and some other partners. So we hope to really see this as one of the main ways that we're commemorating World War I as a state.
Good. So you're telling us you have another book coming up. It sounds very academic because I could not write down the title. So tell me, please, what is the title
Well,
again?
we never have a title until things are finished, but it's looking at Oregon women in citizenship and civil liberties. So through that period after the achievement of the vote through the mid-1920s. So World War I centered right in the middle there.
That's right. That's good. Well, I appreciate you coming on. I know you have a huge schedule. And
it's my pleasure. Thanks for inviting me.
Well, thank you for coming on. And we'll be right back. And here we are with Gary Zenzen. He's with PCL, that's Partners in Community Living. He's the Director Business Development, I believe. Yeah.
One of the things.
Yeah. Well, thanks for coming on, Gary.
Thanks for having me.
We moved here a couple of years ago, and I saw the sign for PCL as I would drive by, but had no idea what it was. So there may be others in the same boat.
Sure.
Would you tell us about it?
Sure. PCL is an organization that's grown significantly in the last 30 years, and we support people with intellectual and developmental disabilities. We help them live in their homes, and we help them find jobs.
Oh, good. That's succinct and accurate. How cool.
Try to keep it simple.
Well, yeah, that's right. So you've been with the, would you say, company? Okay.
We think of ourselves as an agency or an
I would
organization.
think so, too.
Yeah, because we're a nonprofit. So, but a company is, we also fit that role too. We're big, and we have a lot of activities all over the state of Oregon.
Yeah, you are big. Tell us how many employees?
Sure. Right now, we're just pushing up against 800 employees.
My goodness.
Yeah. Started here in Monmouth, though, 30 years ago. We're fortunate enough to have our founders still leading the organization, Zali Allen and Joanne Furman. They help keep us on track, but we've spread to 7 counties within Oregon.
Wow, good.
Down into Jackson and Josephine County in Southern Oregon.
Oh, really? So you do get to travel?
Yep. Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Wow.
that's, we could use an airplane from time to time.
I bet. So
only.
did I understand that they were students at Western?
Yeah, they're both alumni, yes.
And isn't that something that they would come up with this, see a need and fill it? So it's really awesome. I actually heard Zelly speak once, and it was talk about enthusiasm and charisma. The
Yes.
guy's got it in spades.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, so you've been with the organization, the agency, for 10 years?
For 10 years, yep.
And how old is PCL?
PCL is turning 30 this year.
Wow.
So started out as a summer camp. It was the brainchild of Joanne and Zelly. You know, they carried their passion to see, you know, kind of justice for people with living with disabilities carried through into their real lives, and kind of centered around the closing of the Fairview Institution in Salem back
is
in
that
the
it?
late 80s.
Okay,
Yep.
okay.
The community living model was Joanne and Zelly were right on the forefront of making that a reality here in Oregon.
So then would they buy homes, and
Most of the
that how
time
it
it's
goes, or-
leasing homes.
Leasing, okay.
And it's the folks that we support, they actually do the leasing. We just help them live in those homes. It's, again, try to make it simple,
Sure.
but it's a complex thing because everybody
Yeah.
is an individual and lives their lives separately just like you and I do.
Yeah, okay. Well, tell us a little about yourself. You're from Oregon,
Yep.
and third generation, you say?
Yep, third generation.
Cool.
Yep. Grew up, was born in Eugene. Spent most of my life up until my early 30s in Eugene. I went to the U of O, had a physics and English background there, fell in love with airplanes, and spent the next 15 years working in corporate and general aviation. Not as a pilot. I kind of wanted to be a pilot. I started training and discovered that that really wasn't the kind of work that I wanted to do. I love flying, but as a job, I decided to keep that as a hobby.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
but I fell in love with the business of it, which...
Now, you don't live in the air park, do you?
No,
Oh, okay.
no. Actually, we live in Salem right now, but work in Monmouth. So, and PCL was looking for somebody that had a business background, but kind of a social heart, to help create and manage some of the businesses that they owned at that time. So
That's quite a conversion. You know, it's difficult to go from the corporate world to the nonprofit world. That's a
yeah, it was kind of a
big
left turn.
shift in focus.
Yeah, it's so been worthwhile for me from a personal standpoint.
Good.
It's allowed me to exercise those kind of businessy things that my background's in, but I still get to see and make a difference in people's lives every day, and that's very, very meaningful.
That is.
As does everybody that works for PCL, actually.
I'm sure.
That's the
You
thing
have
that
to have a
ties us
heart for
together.
it.
Yep. Yep.
So funding for PCL comes from state and fed?
Yep. State.
And are you seeing a decline in, most of us are.
Yeah, the revenue picture for state contract service providers like PCL has really radically changed over the last probably 6 years. The recession did nothing to help that.
Right.
And we understand that everyone's pretty much in the same boat.
Sure.
We receive funding for the services we provide to people with disabilities. They're critical services often. So we have a very active presence with the legislature.
Good,
and, well, in terms of just making sure that information about the folks that we support is well understood by everyone involved.
Right, good. And I imagine you have to write a lot of grants.
Oh, yes.
So that's supplemental. Okay, now for the biggie, what's your biggest fundraiser?
Oh,
fun in fundraising.
We try to put the fun back in fundraising, yes.
Yeah.
So PCL 21 years ago started it's an art auction, basically. We call it the Summer Solstice Benefit Auction. Was kind of the brainchild of Zelly Allen, our executive director, co-director. His degree from Western was in art, so he's an artist himself.
Well, then I have a picture from when he came to speak to us.
Oh, great.
Is this a piece of his?
This is not his. We actually, it's part of what
give it.
happens within PCL, though. We attract artists because of kind of our mission focus and our culture.
Well, this looks like a great think. It was probably one of those things where add a little bit of what are we? You know, what do we do? And there are things like empowered and shared living and support, companionship. It's excellent.
We use this kind of technique because we have our organizational culture is based around team support. So we often use this kind of process to help wrap everybody's mind around a single item. You know, so you gather a bunch of input, you create an image that represents it, and then you collect it, and then you end up with something cool like this.
Go.
Yes.
So, what type of art will there be at the art auction?
Just about any kinds. We kind of specialize in oil paintings, sort of what you typically think of as flat art, but in recent years we've kind of expanded that to sculptures and various other kinds of creative things. So it's really a great fun night. So.
And you have it at Eola Hills?
Eola Hills is one of our best loved community partners. They donate the space for us to use that night. Yeah, it's huge. They've done it for years, and we're so appreciative of that. It always happens on or around the summer solstice, so it kind of tends to conflict with other doings.
Commencement,
So we're always up against that, but we've tried to hold true to that idea of the rebirth of the solstice.
Sure. And how many folks do you usually have in attendance?
Around 250.
That is fabulous.
Yeah, it's wonderful. And we always seem to find room for more, so we're always out not only trying to solicit more art and get more artists involved with it, because it's a great event for artists to showcase their work.
Right.
But we're also always looking for new supporters. And great food, great entertainment, great auction. We have silent auctions. We have an oral auction, good music, and of course, being at a winery, plenty of wine.
Plenty of good wine. I'm sure this is, like so many things, one of those things that takes a lot of preparation. You've probably been meeting once a week or twice a week for the past few months.
We literally start planning the weekend after the art auction for the next one.
That's actually a great idea. You kind of have a what worked, what didn't work. You probably have it down to a science now.
You know, it's funny. You would think so, but we always find new things, and we try to bring forward new ideas and stuff to keep it interesting for people.
I'll bet it's tough to find enough easels. That just occurred to me. I have a couple if you want.
Oh, please.
They're not attractive. They're
That's okay. We will cover it with art.
Okay, that sounds great.
That's awesome.
Well, thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you,
I'm so
Susan.
glad to get to meet you and hear more about PCL.
Okay, thank you.
And we'll be right back. And we're here with Ryan Kingsella. He's from the Chamber of Commerce. You've seen this guy before. Welcome, Ryan.
Thanks, Susan. Glad to be here.
Glad to have you on. You've had your first 100 days.
Certainly have.
So have you seen lots of changes and growth?
Absolutely, absolutely. That's one of the things I'm actually proudest of with my time with the Chamber. We have grown over 18 members.
Ooh, good.
Since I've started. Happy to say that this month we performed over 4 ribbon cuttings for brand new businesses. So it's great to see the community thriving.
Can you tell us who those businesses are?
Yeah, so Timeless Gifts and More, located on off 2nd Street in Independence.
Okay.
We have Indie Commons.
Oh, yes.
Yes, another great one. Of course, CSC, Community Services Consortium. They're an employment, so based in Independence, actually in the Central School District's office. So they help with employment services with graduates, and they help people get GED programs. A wonderful program. Mona Hines runs that. So excellent job.
Good.
And then Fruity Munch, so an actual store in Independence.
Fruity Munch.
Fruity Munch. So it's a Latino deli. And money service center. So Monica Chavez runs it, and she's absolutely wonderful.
Great.
So it's been great.
Well, that's awesome. I had heard rumors that we were going to get something on the corner of 99 on Pacific Highway and Main.
A dentist office. We did
Is that
get
what's going
one
in?
of them. One of them, certainly.
Okay.
Certainly.
Well, that's awesome. Great. Well, our focus is mostly going to be on communication today. I have lots of friends who have said, I need to know what's going on in town, and I say, go to the website. You go to the Monmouth-Independence Chamber of Commerce website. They have a calendar. It's super. And if you want to know what's going on campus, there's a button, and you push that. And now there's also Central School District. Is that it? So there are 2 calendars you can access from that point. I wanted to tell you things that are going on this month, because we'll be running this show all month. Oh, there's the big book sale at the library. That's coming up this weekend. There is the plant sale for the Monmouth, and I'm not sure if that's on the calendar.
It should be.
Okay, and then the Master Gardeners have something the following week. We also have something from the Chamber.
Yes, so we always have our monthly events. So we have our Thirsty Thursday that happens the 3rd Thursday of every month.
Thursday. Okay.
And then, yes, it is a tongue twister.
It is.
And then on the 2nd Wednesday of each month, of course, we have our monthly forum. And one of the new events that I'm actually really excited to kind of announce and talk about is we're getting a morning meeting group or a needs group together, so that our members will have an opportunity each month, either morning, afternoon, or the evening, so they can make one, to talk about their business, what they can do to kind of help and support each other in the community.
Good, because it's not convenient for some
Right.
to only go to the evening one. You have to close down your business to make it.
And it is hard. And a lot of the smaller businesses are run by the owner, or
Yes.
the owner and their family, so stepping away means normally closing.
So you saw a need, and awesome.
Absolutely, yeah.
That's
and-
really a
and
good idea.
That's one of the things I'm excited about, is really opening up and seeing what the community needs and kind of creating. We're in process of creating the LBA, so the Latino Business Alliance.
Oh, thank you. Oh.
So yeah, so that is something early on that I really saw
good.
was a big need, especially in Independence.
Yeah, that's awesome.
yeah.
When we lived in Colorado, there was a Hispanic Chamber of Business, and they were actually in competition. And it was tough. You wanted to go to both and support both, but
Right.
it's a much better idea to
Bringing them together. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, we're one community, like we like
Yeah,
to say.
yeah.
And so many of the Latino business owners in Independence just wasn't receiving the same type of support, and of course, the services that the chamber offered weren't meeting their needs, right? They're
Right.
a different segment of the population with different kind of marketing needs.
Right.
So being able to
Right.
reach them and then hopefully
Awesome.
building something to help would be great.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Good. So are some of those 18 new members and the
Yes.
Latino families?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, certainly.
Awesome. Good. Okay, so let's get down to business. I brought my iPad along. We found the MICC-OR.org. So I would put this on your favorites, folks, because once you type it in, it's easy. You get the front page, and tell us, you've got a new
A new website.
website.
So
Tell us about
yes,
it.
so something we've been working on for about the last month and a half that just should finally go live this week.
Good.
But one of the first things I noticed is that our website could have been more user-friendly, a little easier to navigate and get around.
Yeah.
And so that's something that we did. So it's a fresh, new design. It looks modern, up to scale with everything going on.
Good.
It's very easy to access what's going on in the community, what's going on in the calendar.
Good.
So I'm very excited to be able to share everyone pretty soon.
Yeah, that is awesome. Well, if you wanted to see what was on upcoming events, it gives you a few things coming up in this week. But if you wanted to find the calendar, you go to news. And the first thing under news is calendar. You press it. It'll give you day by day, but my preference is always to look at a month.
Right.
And so my month, I want to see, can I go out of town this week? No, there's something really cool happening in town this week. So I stay put. So up comes the events calendar, and then you go to view full calendar, and it's on the right about midway down. And then the month will come up, and it shows things that are open to the public. Now tell us who can put an event into the calendar.
Thank you for asking that. So anyone can actually submit an event to the chamber. So you simply go onto our website, and you can just...
It'll say submit an event.
And that comes straight to us. We review the event, and as long as it is open to the public, you can still charge for some of these events. But as long as they're
okay.
open to the public, not closed off to segments, we'll post it on there for you. And if there's
Okay.
anything that needs to be changed, we'll get right on there.
Okay, like correct the spelling or
Right,
punctuation.
right, absolutely. But
Good. Spell check is really good for
it's
that.
useful, yes.
And then you also have the connection to the university and the high school. So they have different criteria for what can show on the calendar. I know for the university, it has to be open to the public, but it also can't conflict with a university mission statement kind of thing. So there is a little bit more funnel, the funnel goes down a little bit more. So I'm looking at this week ahead, and we've got so much going on.
A busy community.
And there is so much to do in town. I know we've got a huge, huge thing happening in August that we'll talk about, that solar eclipse. That's huge. And I know that calendar is just going to be packed on that day and before. So we really encourage you to use these 2 or 3 formats and find out what's happening in town. You've got all sorts of things going on.
Absolutely. And be sure to click those events, and you can actually normally register. And if you do that, we'll send you a reminder and all sorts of additional information. So it's always helpful.
Good. Yeah. So lots of these things, if you double click on it, like a Central Lions Club meeting, or no, I'm going for the Polk Flea Market on the 7th. Let's see. If I press that, it's going to give us the date, the location, and event description.
And usually who to contact, so it's
and who to contact.
Yeah.
There you go, folks. Too easy. Thank you for coming on and explaining it for us.
Absolutely. It's always a pleasure.
And we'll be back. Weren't they super guests? I learned a lot, and I hope you did too. There are no excuses. So much goes on in our community. You can see this show on YouTube Wimpeg channel, on MyNet channel 718, and of course, Polk Salad, a bounty of conversation. Until next time, see you around town.